If you want to see just how poorly Donald Trump's war on Iran is going, all you have to do is watch the Fox propaganda outlet, because this morning, Donald Trump appeared on Fox and Friends, and not only did the stupidest president we've ever have embarrass himself with just how little he knows about his own war, but he seemingly forgot all of it. We are in a state right now when Donald Trump's answers either means that our dementia-addled president can't even remember his presidency, or he knows nothing about it, or also he's lying. Those are the three options we have with regards to a war that nobody wanted, that's cost us hundreds of billions of dollars and 18 American lives. So I don't think anyone's feeling particularly fantastic about Donald Trump's war on Iran, and that is why before we got to him forgetting his whole presidency, lying, and looking like an idiot, we saw Donald Trump and Fox open with questions about Dr. Fauci.
And he's going to be in front of Congress tomorrow testifying. What is your reaction to this? What is your takeaway?
Well, if you remember early on when it first came, I always said it came from the Wuhan labs. I never changed my tune on that. I think he said something different. He was a much bigger player in the Biden administration. I grew tired of him. He was... You remember that, he wanted to close everything down. I allowed it to be up to the governors, and most or many of the Republican governors didn't want to close. And, being somewhat of a federalist, the federalist theory is let the governors make the decision, and we let them. The blue states were mostly closed, and the red states were open, or they started to open very fast. So the Republicans actually did a very, very good job having to do with that. And we did a great job with Operation Warp Speed. I never got the credit that we should have gotten. I got a lot of credit for a lot of things, to be honest. The military, the rebuilding, all the things we've done. The economy, with the best economy in the history of our country in my first term. This is going to be better. As soon as this little situation gets worked out, I believe it's going to be better. It already is.
These people are really running out of material, aren't they? Are we talking about Dr. Fauci in 2026? That's what we're talking about, because Republicans want to bring him into Congress, because Republicans have nothing to talk about. If you can't afford food or gas or housing or go to the doctor, I don't think you want to see Dr. Fauci testify. I think you want to see your doctor. But Donald Trump doesn't care. Republicans don't care. They're going to try to Biden their way out of this, because that is what they always do. Donald Trump is going to say he inherited sky-high gas prices from Joe Biden, even though they were much lower and during every July in Joe Biden's presidency than they are right now. It is idiotic that Donald Trump is continuing to carry forward with this message, a message that was actually costly to the Biden administration, saying that they were working through things, but it would eventually get better. Now, Joe Biden was right to say that. Trump is not, which makes the message all the more insane, especially on the price of gas, something that he talked about all the time, and considering he's still telling this lie about the Strait before he seemingly forgot his presidency.
Said by military people, you know better, that for the 14 days that you hit him was relatively surgical, was focused basically around the Strait. But to amp it up, you needed more of your material in the region, and it's arrived. Has Admiral Cooper given you the type of plan that you believe will be effective in essentially destroying their nuclear, stopping their funding of proxies, as well as their ballistic program? Have you seen that on paper?
Well, it's already been mostly done. Look, we have a blockade up there right now, and only ships that we want to get through. Iran doesn't control the Strait. We control the Strait. Now, they can drop a couple of mines in there and screw things up, but we control the Strait. Our Navy is incredible. Not one ship has gotten to Iran during any time where we had the blockade. So we had the blockade. Right. We had the confines of a deal. I set the blockade back, but I didn't take it away. The ships were not far away.
But ships are not getting through now.
And then I had to bring it back. But no, this is done with the Admiral. He's great. This is all done with the Admiral. He's a great guy. General Raising Cane.
Mr. President, are we right that the no merchant ships are getting through right now, maybe 3 or 4 a day when you need about 100?
The only ones that get through are the ones that we want to get through. They're the only ships that get through, Brian. We have a blockade that's so powerful that nobody can get through. They tried.
Okay, Iran doesn't control the Strait. Then what the fuck are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? In fact, it's not just that Iran does control the Strait, but it is that more shipping channels are being cut off by the day. The U.S. economy is about to be in free fall because the price of gas is going to explode, and not just explode in the Strait of Hormuz is closed way, but our strategic petroleum reserve is almost empty. The Saudis have one of their shipping channels being closed by Houthi strikes right now. Like, it is about to get so much worse. Gas is about to cost so much more. And Donald Trump just doesn't know or doesn't care or doesn't remember with his war, because that is the only possible series of explanations. When he was asked this by Brian Kilmeade about who he's talking to on the Iranian side.
War in Iran. I know you're going to be talking about that today with the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, and you're going to be. We hear that you're talking right now with leaders on Iran, but Iran has come out publicly and said we're not talking to the U.S. We're going to pause as long as they're pausing.
We are talking a little while ago because.
So could you tell me who you're talking to, Mr. President?
For some reason, we can be in the midst of a beautiful discussion, and they'll come out and say we're not talking, or we didn't discuss nuclear. Well, that's all we discussed because they'll never have a nuclear weapon. They understand that. And we have had some very good talks, and very interesting with Lindsey. He was very much a hawk, as you would say, on Iran. And over the last few weeks, I would say that he became like, if you could make a deal, it's better making a deal in this case than just destroying the rest of the country. We've destroyed most of it, frankly. But he was somebody that said it's a good time to make a deal, nice time to make a deal.
What does a good deal look like?
Now, I wouldn't say necessarily he feels that way about Ukraine. He's very militant about. I mean, Lindsey liked war, to be honest with you. Okay, I said, "You're a nice guy. How come you like war so much?" He was a guy that liked war. I joke.
So Donald Trump claims, well, quite frankly, a great conversation, and we love that conversation. And Brian Kilmeade, I guess, trying to be a journalist, although asking in a very polite way, well, dear Leader Trump, well, Mr. Trump, who are you talking to? And then Trump's like, well, can we just not talk about that right now? So either, obviously, there's a very clear answer here. He's not talking to anyone, which could certainly be the case. Or two, there is some sort of conversation going on, because there is still some conversation going on. There are channels by which there is, diplomatic communication, not in any high-level way, not in the way that, Trump purports there to be. But he probably doesn't remember. Like, he just forgot. He's like, I don't know. They gave it to me in a briefing. I didn't read it, or someone said it to me, but I didn't internalize it because I'm a big fucking dummy. And so, yes, that is the position that we are in right now. Or there's another position that we could be in with regards to this answer from Trump. He could honestly just not know because he doesn't care. Like, do I believe that there are high-level talks still happening? Obviously not. There aren't, because the Iranians are like, this is ridiculous. You're going to keep bombing us. You don't know what you want. Your president is a madman. There's no deal that makes sense. We're continuing to kind of fortify ourselves and establish ourselves as a global superpower. Keep shooting yourself in the foot there, Donald. But there are some talks, some level of talks, and Donald Trump is just unaware. So either we have lying, which is really the number one option, forgetting the entire presidency, or too stupid and disconnected to actually know what's going on. And this is a war he wanted, remember? Like, this is the war that Donald Trump wanted, and that Donald Trump continues. And he does that by threatening war crimes all the time.
President Netanyahu, as you said, you know exactly what he's going to say. Mr. President, we got to keep this war going. At the same time, I know that there are Republican officials in Washington, D.C. who have an eye on November, and they're going, Mr. President, you got to wrap it up. So you got two different messages. Wrap it up, keep going. Wrap it up, keep going.
Well, I have a third message, because I have many Republicans that want me to keep going and do it. I mean, we pounded the hell out of them. They have no Navy. They have no Air Force. Their Army's been really badly mortified. So many others, you look at their defense, their air defense, it's gone. All of their radar is gone. Most of their weaponry is gone. Most of their manufacturing is gone. And you look, but I have some Republicans that, well, why don't we hit them harder? So, it's like at some point. So you have a lot of competing factions. You have a group of people that wanted to be obliterated in the truest sense of the word. Then you have a group that says, this is actually a good time to make a deal for them. If they don't make a deal, then I go back and I finish the job. But That's going to take them forever to rebuild. Already, it'll take them many years to ever to rebuild. And if I go back and finish up the job, as some people would like, with the bridges, very easy. I could take out most of their bridges in less than an hour. Less than an hour. But, it takes them 10 years to build a bridge. Bridges take the longest, and power plants are second. I can knock out the power plants. Within one day, all of their power plants would be gone. And I let them know that, with negotiations. I said, look, people want me to do that. I think I get almost the same thing out of it as doing it. But the problem is they'll never be able to, I think about 91 million people without power, without bridges, would have to live. And it's a very, very delicate balance. Yeah. So I think we have a very strong position right now. They know I'm going to do that if they don't make a deal. The bridges are going to be gone. Literally in less than, I would say in 2 hours, most of the major bridges will all be gone. And the power plants in one day.
I have said this a couple of times lately on the show, and I'm going to reiterate it again because I think it just so perfectly distills not only why Donald Trump says this, but why he says it on Fox, why he's like, we're going to bomb them, and we love the bombing, is because Donald Trump is a stupid person, smart person. He is the stupid person's idea of a smart person carrying out a war. Because Donald Trump's like, well, if we just bomb them, if we do the bombs, then they'll be scared, and we'll win. Because the bombs, and I think that's war. And that's what you think if you're dumb, right? If you're dumb, you just go, well, they're not going to close the Strait of Hormuz. No shot that that's going to happen. And we'll be able to do regime change in a day, and we'll kill the leader of Iran, and the people will love us, and it'll be all fine. And that's what you do when you're dumb, which is exactly what Donald Trump is. He's not only the stupid person, smart person, he is also the stupid person. And so Donald Trump is carrying out a war like an idiot. His Secretary of Defense is drunk and also an idiot, and that is why we are in the position that we are. Oh, never mind mentioning Benjamin Netanyahu telling us to do what all the time, and Donald Trump was asked about that actually, and of course this answer is not surprising.
You say that Iran will not have a nuclear weapon. There are reports now that Netanyahu is going to talk to you about ongoing excavation at Pickaxe Mountain, construction vehicles entering and exiting tunnels, paving new access roads. Satellite imagery and intel indicates that Iran is actively constructing and fortifying Pickaxe Mountain. How will we respond?
Well, I don't need Bibi to tell me that. Bibi's telling me that because he wants me to stay involved. I mean, I don't necessarily. We have the finest, because of Space Force, we have the greatest cameras in the world focused on. We know exactly what's going on. But no, I heard Bibi announce that. I said, why don't you just tell it to me? Why do you have to announce it to the world? I know exactly what's going on at Pickaxe. It's not a big problem. We took out their nuclear sites, and we'll have to take out Pickaxe if we don't make a deal. If we don't make a deal, we'll take it out very easily.
Donald Trump will ultimately do whatever Netanyahu wants, and you've really seen a strategic, although strategic is kind of giving them credit. Of course, they're morons. But you've seen this kind of strategic operation by the White House to pretend that Donald Trump isn't fully in the pocket of Netanyahu, which is kind of funny to me. It's like, that's exactly what's going on. Like he does do whatever Netanyahu wants. But, there's those leaked calls of Trump screaming at him, pretending that he's the tough guy or he has any agency. It's not. It's not real. Those aren't actual calls. Donald Trump is doing that all as a performance. They know that public sees that Netanyahu is in control of Trump, and they hate that because they want him to seem like the tough guy, the strong guy, the guy who supposedly stopped all the wars.
No, the tariffs have, it's a shame that I have to go a harder way for the tariffs because the Supreme Court, in a very close decision, ruled against me. Now, I have other ways of doing the same thing, but it's a more cumbersome way of doing it. But the tariffs have made this country a fortune. It made the country rich. And I stopped 8 wars. I would say 5 of them because of tariffs. The threat of tariffs stopped India and Pakistan from going into a nuclear war. The threat of tariffs stopped numerous other countries from going to war. These tariffs, it's the greatest thing. And only the really smart people or the people that are non-political and that get it talk about it. The Democrats know how good it's been. I
would love for him to just list them out and explain how he stopped them one day. I think that is something. Caitlin Collins, you've been doing great work lately. You've been getting under Donald Trump's skin. How about we do that? Next question. Mr. Trump, you claim to have stopped 8 wars. Can you articulate which 8 and how and what stop means? And he'd be like, well, I don't listen when people say stop. That's a sad joke, but it's true. And he would fall apart. Because again, This is a man fundamentally disinterested in the war that he started that nobody wants.